Have you ever stopped and wondered if you're, really evolving? I don't just mean getting older, but actually becoming a better, deeper version of yourself. Well, today, we're going to dive into a fascinating framework that looks at exactly that, the journey from just being a human to becoming a human spirit.
It all really boils down to this one huge question, right? Are we good or are we evil? At our core, are we naturally kind, cooperative beings? Or are we just really smart animals, driven by that ruthless survival of the fittest instinct? This isn't just some dusty old philosophical debate. It's a question that totally shapes how we see ourselves and everyone around us.
But what if it's not so black and white? What if it's not an either-or question? The way this text breaks it down, it's actually more like a puzzle. It says we're all three of these things at the same time. We've got that raw survival drive, yeah, but we also have an innate goodness, and we need a little help from above to figure it all out. So, how can all three be true? Let's start putting the pieces together and see.
Okay, so let's grab our first piece of the puzzle. This one is called the DNA instinct. This is that deep down part of us that's hardwired for survival. It's the ancient programming we got straight from our animal ancestors. It's basically the law of the wild, still running in our veins.
The text we're looking at has a specific name for this: external aggressiveness. Now hold on, that doesn't just mean you like getting into arguments. It's bigger than that. It's the instinct to compete, to win, to protect our own, whatever it takes. It's that primal urge to get ahead that's literally baked into our DNA.
But here's the thing. As humans, we're at the top of the food chain, right? We don't really have natural predators. So that survival instinct, it's supercharged. We've got the brains and the power to act on it like no other creature on the planet. And when that drive goes completely unchecked, it's not about survival anymore. It becomes about pure dominance. And that can lead to all the exploitation and destruction we see in the world.
So if we have this incredibly powerful and potentially destructive instinct, are we just doomed to follow it? Well, not so fast. Let's look at the second piece of our puzzle, the evolving inner spirit. This is the powerful force inside us that's meant to push back and create some balance.
So the idea here is that inside every single one of us, there's this inner essence. You can call it your soul, your mind, your conscience, your spirit. Honestly, the label doesn't really matter. What's important is recognizing that there's a core part of you that's more than just biology and instinct.
And this next part, this quote, is absolutely crucial. While our DNA instinct is pushing us to conquer the world outside of us, our spirit's evolution is all about conquering the world inside of us. The text calls this aggressive self-conquest, and I love that phrase. It's an active, intentional battle to master our own impulses, our own thoughts, our own inner world.
And this chart just lays it all out so clearly. On one side, you've got the DNA instinct. It's all focused outward, it's about survival, and it's what we share with the animals. But on the other side, you've got the inner spirit, focused inward, all about self-mastery, and this is what makes us uniquely human. The entire game of life, then, is about the spirit learning to steer and balance the raw power of our animal instinct. Okay, so we've got this intense internal battle going on between our instincts and our spirit. And man, that's a tough fight. That brings us to our third and final puzzle piece, this idea that we get a helping hand from above. But what does that actually mean? Is some cosmic force just going to swoop in and save us from ourselves?
No, not at all. According to this way of thinking, that help from above isn't a rescue mission. It's more like a toolkit. We're given the wisdom, the teachings, the spiritual guidance that shows us how to build up our inner spirit. It's like being handed the blueprint and all the best materials, but we're the ones who have to actually build the house.
And the text uses a perfect analogy for this. It's just like learning to ride a bike. First, you get the bike. That's your spirit, your potential. Then you get the instructions on how to balance and pedal. Those are the spiritual teachings. You might even have someone, a prophet, a mentor, holding the bike steady for you when you start. But, and this is the most important part, eventually they have to let go. It's up to you, and only you, to find your own balance and start pedaling forward on your own.
Okay, so we've got our three pieces, the raw animal instinct, the evolving inner spirit, and that guiding toolkit from above. Now, let's click them all together and solve this puzzle. Let's see what the big picture looks like.
And here's what it all comes down to. This is the choice. We can stay on the path of the Homo sapien, driven by our DNA instinct, maybe finding success out in the world, but feeling disconnected from our true inner core. Or
We can choose the path of the human spirit, guided by self-conquest, which leads to what the text calls nobility of character, things like real integrity, compassion, and courage.
And there you have it. The puzzle is solved. See, the pieces aren't contradictory at all. They're all parts of one big dynamic system. Our animal instincts give us our engine, our raw power. Our spirit is meant to be the driver in the driver's seat. And the teachings from above, that's our map, our GPS. But who's actually in charge of the journey? Well, the responsibility to pick up those tools and actually evolve, that is ours, and ours alone.
And this, right here, this is probably the most important takeaway of all. Being born human, well, that's a biological fact. But becoming a human spirit is an active choice. It's not our default setting. It is a conscious, deliberate, step-by-step process of personal evolution.
Which, of course, leaves us with one final and very personal question. If this is all true, then evolution isn't just something that happened millions of years ago in our history books. It's a choice we have to make every single day. So the real question isn't what is human nature? The real question is, what are you choosing to become? Are you evolving?